Yo, I'm not even gonna hold you. Once I seen this, oh, I was pissed. I was so mad. Like, what? So we're gonna read this article from USA Today. It's titled 82 million cannot afford healthcare, but Hegseth gets lobster. Y'all, I don't know if you guys have been hearing about this that has been going around, but I think there was one organization that looked into the actual finances of Department of Defense, renamed as Department of War, and the amount of waste in the Pentagon, in the Department of War, is crazy. Now, I'm a military brat, if you guys don't know, so I've always known that the DoD has an extensive budget. Like, their budget is almost non-existent to what they can buy, what they can write off, all of that, because it's for protecting the people. I could go in another direction with that, but I won't. The fact that the Trump administration is in office and they already produce a lot of waste, to add insult to injury, you are wasting in a time where we are financially in crisis. You're wasting on, let's hear what they're wasting on. Well, the title already gave it off, but so USA Today said the bad news is more than 82 million Americans are having to skip meals, borrow money, or cut back on utilities so they can afford health care. The good news is the Pentagon is swimming in millions of dollars worth of ribeye steak and lobster tails, part of more than $93 billion in U.S. Department of Defense spent in September as the fiscal year closed. So while you're putting off unnecessary surgery so you could afford gas, the department overseen by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was in 1 month dropping $139,224 on 272 orders of donuts. Y'all. Donuts is enough to make you want to grab a torch and pitchfork and start marching. No, not marching, rioting, because how in the world is this acceptable? And every twist and turn, what they're doing, what was Dodge coming in to do? To eliminate waste, right? Overspending, unnecessary spending. I even had a friend of mine, a homeboy of mine, who was literally going back and forth with me, talking about, oh yeah, what Trump is doing is good because there are unnecessary spending ways that is going on. There are people who are not even on the job but still getting paid and all that. Sir, where you at now? Because the fact that these people can spend 93 million, was it million or billion dollars in a month on unnecessary items? What happened to those? Let's keep going. In 2025, Republicans under President Donald Trump made Medicaid cuts amounting to $1 trillion over a decade and did away with COVID era Affordable Care Act subsidies that spiked health insurance costs for millions. Already, according to a report by Democrats on the U.S. Senate Committee on Finance, 1.2 million Americans have dropped their ACA coverage. Why? Because they can't afford it. I love my Nigerians, but the way these people are running the Oval Office makes Nigerian scammers blush. Like, come on. This doesn't make any sense. And the fact that a lot of people are okay with it, or they're just so ignorant to the fact that this is actually happening, these type of news, these type of facts are not landing on the people's lap that it needs to land on. Is landing on people's lap like me, who are in tune, who are engaged in what's going on, who are peeping and side eyeing what's going on. The people who are very much delusional, who put this man on office, this man and his administration in office, don't even know this is happening. But yet they're going to sit here and try to point fingers to those who are coming in through the border, who are looking for a better way of life, as, oh no, we don't have enough money because you guys are coming in and taking our resources. When Pete Hegseth is right there ordering lobsters for over 100K. I think it's actually way more than that, but we'll continue. There is, however, as mentioned above, a lot of lobsters held at the Pentagon. More than $7.4 million. Okay, I digress. Is more than 100K. It's $7.4 million on lobsters held in 4 separate months: March, May, June, and October. There was also $15.1 million worth of ribeye steak, $124,000 worth of ice cream machines. Huh? What y'all doing? Throwing a party? In a $98,329 Stanway and Sons grand piano for the Air Force Chief of Staff's home. Wow. Wow, we getting grand pianos in the time where people healthcare is being cut. We're getting grand pianos in the same era where Republicans are mad because there are people who are unfortunate with their finances, cannot make ends meet, and try to get government assistance. Wow. We're getting grand pianos in the time where tariffs are tearing into the wallets of who? The wallets of Americans, and not the wallets of whoever is shipping to them, because Trump was going on with the lie with, oh, no, Americans are not the ones who are paying it, it's the other country. Absolutely not. We're getting grand pianos in the time of inflation. We're getting grand pianos in the time of high housing prices, unnecessarily high housing prices. We're getting grand pianos when overall cost of living doesn't make any sense. But yet, we're getting grand pianos worth almost 100K in a Air Force Chief Staff's home. I wonder who that Air Force Chief is. Very interesting. Grand piano. When people are trying to pinch pennies, grand piano, something that's so unnecessary. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know how to play the piano. It's just gonna sit there, collect dust for shits and giggles to show off. Interesting. So Iran war is costing billions. I want to make a separate video on that. So let's not go into that and go into what exactly they're spending it on. So this one says U.S. Defense Department went on multi-billion-dollar spending spree to maintain its funding. And the thing about, I think they're gonna elaborate in this article. So US has a use it or lose it type of system, to where if they're giving money to a department, you have to use it all. So basically, if they don't use it at all, the next time they come in, do the funding for the next fiscal year, being that they seen they use less than what they gave them, they're going to try to give them less. And they try to bypass that by spending all of it, whether they need it or not, in order for the fund to keep on going. And that is such a bad system, but that's what they have. And I'm pretty sure they know for sure it's not a good system. But they continue on with it because everybody exploits and, eats in that case. So basically, this is from aa.com.tr. So it says a U.S. Department spends a record $93.4 billion in 2025 of September alone, just in a month, including millions of dollars on luxury crabs and other food items as part of a frantic end of the fiscal year spending spree to maintain its immense funding, according to the report. While a majority of its $93.4 billion price tag was spent on military grants and contracts. Okay. Being that $93.4 billion was spent alone in September, and majority of them was spent on grants and contracts. Now it makes me side eye those contracts for sure, because everybody knows the sweetest deal there is a government contract, because governments can spend money. Now, I don't know about other countries, but especially in the US, governments close their eyes and just throw money wherever their contract is. I've seen multiple times where the funding the spending has been ridiculous to where so much money is being spent on the most basic item just because they know they're the government, just because they know they have the funding, primarily because they know they're just going to print money. I'm pretty sure there's so much waste, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of scamming that is going on, you know, nefarious acts that are going on within these contracts to boost these numbers up. Because to be honest, to have this much of a budget for military when you are in the Americas, it's crazy work. It's crazy. The nonpartisan government watchdog, that's who I was talking about earlier, group opened the books, noted that a significant amount of taxpayers' money was used for luxury food items, right? Topping the list is in the 2025 September spending report, the Pentagon dished out $15.1 million for rib eye steak, which we mentioned before, $6.9 million on lobster tails, and $2 million for Alaskan king crab. The U.S. military also spent $1 million on salmon, $224,000 on 272 orders of donuts, $124,000 for ice cream machines, $26,000 for sushi preparation tables in September 2025. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told the military in a speech on September 30th that it is completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon, but yet you're stuffing your face. You and your counterparts are stuffing your face with over $1 billion worth of food. And it's funny because I don't know if I believe the fact that they actually spent so much money on these items. I don't believe it. I feel like that's something a lot of people are not actually saying. I feel as though they skew the numbers of what they're spending on and they categorize it as something that is not, in order for them to steal that money and pocket it somewhere else. Because if Pete Hegseth is the one in charge to look over the finances, who's going to look over him, making sure the finances are a-okay? You understand what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to where you're spending over $15 million on, what was it, on ribeyes? I for sure feel as though these numbers are categorized under food because it's easy to categorize under food, but I don't think they're food for real. I think these numbers are definitely being pocketed in different contracts. So maybe those caterers, maybe those restaurants that are getting paid for these food are not legit restaurants. I have a feeling there are very much shell companies where their friends and families, Pete's probably, or whoever else Pete is giving these privileges to. I feel like they're probably shell companies to just go ahead and write a check for his faves in order for them to get paid, because I'm a business owner and this doesn't make any sense. Unless the companies themselves, they know because they have a government contract, so they exaggerating the prices. So that can be one, but I have a feeling that these are just shell companies that all of a sudden appeared, because I would want to definitely see which company they actually sent the money to. Can we actually do that? Can we actually get a report, a financial report of which company is being contracted out? I mean, it is our money. I'm an entrepreneur, so I pay. Not only am I an entrepreneur, I am not married and don't have dependents. So normally we pay the most amount of taxes out of everyone. We do not get a tax refund. We pour into the system more than we get out of it. So I'm pretty sure we should be able to figure out or see proof of the company and be able to research ourselves what company is actually getting these contracts from the government, because something about this is extremely fishy. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't believe it. I just don't. So for this to be going on, and this goes on for years, it's crazy because somehow we're not able to feed people that are on the streets, house people on the streets. We're apparently not even able to give people basic meds and provide doctor care because Trump is cutting Medicaid, and we're not able to give people a little some in order for them to get their first home. But somehow we're able to not give the American people the basic form of living, but we're able to spend so much money on other unnecessary items. At this point, why am I paying my taxes? I've been in Dubai. Today I'm recording this on March the 14th. So the war has been going on for well over 2 weeks now. Like I think we're in our third week of the war, and to this day, U.S. has not brought out any type of plane charter, any type of transportation in order for us to get out. Where they're telling us to get out, but not providing any type of information, not any type of transportation for us to actually get out. Whereas we have South Korea coming to get its people, France, UK, Spain, so many other countries coming to get its people, but yet we still in limbo, or we have to dish out our own money in order for us to try to get out, when first of all US is the one who started the war. Not only that, you're telling us to get out. How, Sway? How is that possible? So why am I paying my taxes? Why am I paying my taxes? Why do I still owe my taxes to the country that is not helping at all, who's only sucking me dry, taking, but not giving anything in return? The relationship is not reciprocal.